Oh, I most certainly feel so. I think what else could the Editors Guild have done? The moment there was an accusation, they suspended him and expelled him from the executive committee, from the post of a treasurer. I think that much alacrity is very commendable, and I think more than that would not have been desirable, because a person should be presumed innocent till he is proved guilty. So the moment the allegation was there, the media regulated itself brilliantly, I think. Well, I don't know, because an individual can trespass law without the management's complicity or interference or abetment. But as the case appears, to me, you ask me a straight question and I answer you bluntly, I don't think that no editor at such a senior position would have dared to put his neck on the chopper and take such risks without at least some tacit, if not approval, some sort of tacit understanding of the management. Well, however the lines are blurred, ultimately is the editor. If he is self-respecting, he can't, I mean, there is a classic Nuremberg defense, when the Nazis, the underlings said that they were only following orders. No editor can get away by saying that my management wanted me to do this, then he is not worth his salt. So if he is so worried about his job, about his chair, about his perks, about his prestige, he might as well not be an editor, he might be as well a flunky. So I don't think that the management can be directly brought into this debate of media responsibility, media regulation, because the owner of a magazine or a newspaper is only as a master vicariously responsible for what is being done by his employees. And an editor is not a mere reporter. An editor is not even an assistant reporter or a bureau chief. He is the head of the organization, a newspaper or a media channel. So I think principal responsibility or culpability, or call whatever you may, remains the editor's. Well, you see, to return to the specific case which has brought all this debate into the headlines today, I think the whole problem is that this is not a question of Indian media not being experienced enough, not being mature enough. I think it's a question of a person, individual taking a call. There is a very clear-cut line between a dishonest behavior, between extortion or a genuine sting operation. I mean, you know, there is not a question of the lines being blurred here at all. I mean, what little I have seen of the media clips, the body language of these two gentlemen leaves not much to imagination. I mean, I mean, either they are professional Oscar class actors putting on a performance for a Oscar trophy, or they were so bloody self-confident that they were brazen enough and they thought they would get away with it. I mean, there are two issues here. A, did they do it with the knowledge, the complicity, abetment of their masters, or they thought that they would get away with it because they headed a major news channel and the opportunity was right and the person was vulnerable. This doesn't absolve Mr. Jindal of everything he has done in retaliation, but I think the whole case needs to be debated. It's not only an issue of media regulation, it also is of a corporate. I mean, when you talked of corporatization of media, there are corporates and corporates. I mean, once upon a time the house of Tata was supposed to be above any accusations and allegations, and unfortunately after the Radia tape exposures, I mean, I don't think that there is a single corporate house which can claim to be more virtuous than the other. And there has been a history of capitalism where before corporate entities become responsible citizens, there are robber barons. So I think the history of capitalism is replete with such occasions, and this whole fiasco of Colgate, there is so much muck that has to be cleared, and there is so much lack of transparency. I don't think that you can compare the social media with the formal media. I mean, they might feed on each other, but I think the media as regulated by law in this land, there is no law which specifically can apply to social media. What is private communication, what is broadcast, what is public communication, whether the same freedom of expression operates in both cases is different. And the laws of press in this country date back to the colonial period, and I think the press regulation is more draconian than elsewhere, and I think the freedom of expression in the Indian democracy is mature enough not to have unreasonable restrictions. So I think the IT section 66 has just come under fire at the moment, but let's not compare the two, let's not confuse the two issues. The fiasco of the Z editors having been caught in flagrante delicto, I think, you know, is something in a class by itself. A very senior head of a TV channel caught in a conversation, allegedly in a sting operation, stuck in a counter sting operation by a corporate baron who ultimately is himself in the dock at the moment, is a different category altogether.